Back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us this Thursday. We're talking, as you see, not open phones today, but security at the recruitment centers. It's been a big story. It's gone national across the country. Recruiting centers, you have citizen patrol on, 24, well, not 24/7, during the hours that they're open to provide security for the staff there that are not allowed on federal property to bring weapons. Of course, all in the wake of what happened in Chattanooga. John Jensen and Tim Guy, two of them that started that here. It was a week ago Monday. You've been on patrol since then. And let's take some more calls for you guys. Thanks for coming on. And we got the lines open if you have a question or comment for them. Marcus, good morning. Hi, Marcus.
Good morning. I got a couple of questions. What these guys doing? Are this legal? What they doing, and what the authorities think about, like the police, what they think about what they doing?
Okay, good question. Fair enough. You go ahead. And I've been in touch, by the way, with the police, and they tell me they have not had any serious complaints. I think there were a couple people that maybe contacted them about concern with the long guns, and you guys have put those up. But other than that, Murfreesboro police tell me no issues legally, and that as far as they're concerned, or as far as they know, you're law-abiding. Right. Now, a lot of people wonder about the guns and your training and all that. Talk about that.
Okay, well, first, it is very legal what we're doing out there. It is private property. They all have carry permits, and so they're not breaking any laws as far as that. And like you said, with the Murfreesboro Police and the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, they said no problem with you guys. They come by, they wave at us, and they wanted to stand with us, but they're people said no, they can't. So, but they do show the support for us, and we're not breaking any laws.
And I wonder if, and I don't know if Marcus is thinking this way, but you're right. Police, sheriff's departments, gosh forbid if there's an incident like this, they get called in and they're trained to do this. You both are former, military veterans, but I do wonder, and I've had some people say to me, okay, I'm glad they're out there, but God forbid if someone does show up and pull a gun, some crazy person or something like that. And there's a bunch of you, some of you with some high-powered weapons in the trunk as well as your sidearms. And you just get the sense that if things went down, and this isn't a very public place, guys, very public place, that bullets are going to be flying everywhere. That's what people worry about. And you sit here, and I trust, you guys are calm guys, but all of a sudden that happens, and you've got all these different folks out there. There's the concern, the training, the organization. Yeah, I know you know how to handle a weapon and you're legal, but gosh forbid, in a situation like that, we worry that friendly fire is going to be hitting some people. How do you assess that? Now, do you worry that when crisis hits, maybe you two do, but you don't know everyone out there intimately. I mean, that it just becomes a shooting gallery.
Yes, that would have been a concern. And what we've done is our numbers are down from the people that we had out there. We've got just. The other day it was just Jonathan and myself up on the sidewalk. Everybody else was somewhere else, and so we're controlling what's going on. We've been giving people certain jobs to do so that not everybody's the ones who's going to be shooting. We've got people that are set to
give me an example when you have your meetings and you've talked about, okay, so God forbid someone does show up and try to pull a stunt like this. I mean, I guess, he's going to attack by surprise probably initially, and he'll catch you guys. At that moment, I'm guessing, if you're there with your sidearm, you're pulling it, and you're going to try to take the target out. But, he's spraying bullets. There's a bunch of you, and, he may be between you and one of your buddies on the other end of the lot. I mean, that's just the thing that is scary.
Well, it's chaos. What's going to happen if we're not there? The bullets are going to fly anyway. Now, of course, us shooting back, most of us being veterans know fire on point. It's something that you're trained in, just like with your police department or any type of training like that. They're trained to maneuver with civilians. Now, we can't speak for everybody out there, but the ones that are out there standing guard the most often, Tim and myself, we're the ones that have been trained to do so. We've corridored certain sections off, places where we may experience crossfire in the event that something happens. We've taken these precautions. We have cars lined up right in the front just in case somebody starts to open fire. Everybody's got cover. So it's not like we're just a bunch of armed guards out there, a couple of bubbas from the backwoods just wanting to flaunt guns. Most of this has taken a lot of time for us to plan out, and there's a reason that we're going longer than most of these people around the country are. Some of them have already dissipated.
Okay.
We're getting stronger. We're coming back, working the same hours. We're not going anywhere.
All right, let's go next to Steve. Steve, good morning. Hi, Steve. Are you there, Steve?
I had you on mute.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Break on something that Tim brought up a little earlier about
being soft targets. We all remember back in November of 2009 when Hassan killed 13 and injured 30 down there at Fort Hood. And then
2008.
Again, April 2nd, Lopez killed 4 on the same base at multiple positions. And it's the gun-free zone that's causing that. Most of these guys are cowards, and they would have never done their act had they not been a gun-free zone. So just the threat of return fire can deter most of these acts. If you look all across the country where these terrorist acts occur, it's all gun-free zones because they're cowards and there's no threat of return fire.
And you both, and all of you agree, though, you think that Abdul Aziz clearly knew that these were gun-free zones when he went to Chattanooga? Of course. Do you think he actually knew that? Was he?
Oh, yeah.
He researched it and was aware of the fact? Because, I mean, he did pull up at the first location and fire all those shots and speed away real quick.
Well, all you got to realize is federal property. Right. Any federal property, you're not allowed to have any type of weapon.
Yeah, but you know, it's interesting. You'd be surprised how many people, until this happened, were not aware of that. Seriously, to be honest with you, I wasn't clear. I think I assumed that there were limits, but there might be, especially at a recruiting station. I kind of just thought that. I'm in the news business. You guys know it. You guys have been in the military. You know those things. But the general public, I think, many of them were very surprised at that. I don't know that everyone knew it. That's why I wonder, you know, some of these, you know, terrorists that do these types of things, I don't hold them in real high esteem, and I'm just wondering how smart they really are.
Well, I think they know.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know,
even the guy in the theater just a few days ago, he knew there was that was a gun-free zone, and he knew there was little threat of return fire.
Right.
I mean, that is the deterrent that we need. Not to mention, and I'm a prior military too, if you arm these guys and let them carry their sidearm, I know the amount of training, Tim knows the amount of training they go through. That's like doubling your police force in a normal city.
That's right.
Those guys are going to the gas station, like the woman alluded to earlier. They're going to be in the gas station. They're pulling up at the pump. All of a sudden, you basically doubled your police force in the city.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we know by our presence alone that as one of the captains for the Murfreesboro Police Department told me, he said, just you being here, they don't expect any trouble because anybody that was going to do something knows if they come up there, they're not going to succeed in what they wanted to do. They know what's going to be had. They're going to be met with resistance, and that's what they don't want. They don't want to have any problems. They want to come in and do their crime. Right. Just like why did the man down there shoot the first place up and take off? Did he know that once he started shooting, people were going to show up with guns and he needed to create some devastation? Did he do that to draw everybody over there so he could run down to the next exit and get off?
Military bases that he hit, military recruiting offices.
He knew people were coming. He knew he had to know that the police were going to come and they were going to get him. Right. If he stayed there too long,
that's why he moved.
They were going to move. Get out of there. I counted 55 holes in the glass that day I went down there.
Yeah, he was carrying a 30-round magazine, or several 30-round magazines, I think, when he started doing this. So he knew to shoot and
get gone. He knew somebody was coming to come get him.
Yeah. The number again, 737-7587. Questions or comments about the citizen guards outside the recruiting offices. Let's go next to, I believe, Fran. Hi, Fran. Good morning, Fran.
Good morning. How you all doing today?
Good, Fran. What's on your mind?
Okay, I would just like to make a comment. I think it's sad when you put a gun in these young men and women's hands and send them off to war to protect us. And then when they come back here, they can't protect themselves. And I think that having the guards there is a good thing because they're doing what they should do, is protect these young men and young women. As long as they don't get trigger happy and gun down an innocent, unarmed person like some police have done, then I'm all for it.
Hey, listen, thank you for your call. And that is kind of one of the scary things. And the truth is, if they're worried about someone being Bubba from the woods who's trigger happy, the sad fact is, trained law enforcement, there have been some very tragic, not accidents, murders involving police officers around the country where they've shot people. And so that's what people fear a lot when this comes into play. And I guess it can happen in all phases, whether you're trained law enforcement, former military, or a citizen's guard.
Yeah, no matter who you are, accidents are going to happen. Now, that was one of the biggest things with our long guns as well. We heard, this guy out of Ohio, negligent discharge, because he didn't quite realize what he was doing with his firearm. That was one of the biggest things we were worried about. It was a show that we were not trying to put on, basically. Yeah. So we got rid of them. Now, you don't see weapons being held by anybody but the person that weapon belongs to. It stays holstered unless we plan on going inside the building to use the bathroom or, you know, talk to one of the recruiters. Then it gets locked up in the trunk of our vehicles. Yes, there's always going to be a threat of somebody not knowing what they're doing. But at our location, I can say for us, it ain't going to happen.
And some, if you come by there now, you'll see some people visibly open carrying, but there's a lot of them that are concealing. So we just count them until they just blend in, and they're the extra set of eyes. And people can come down there and stand with us. They don't have to have a carry permit. They don't have to bring a weapon. We're just as happy to have you come down there and be that extra set of eyes, be that person that can make that phone call, looking for that suspicious activity. We have people that walk back to the rear gate where we believe where something could. We have people walk back there and check things out. And we just have everybody being visible and everybody watching. And if we see something, we all focus on that. Just like as of yesterday, we saw a van that was sitting there and it didn't look quite right. So we started walking towards it. And they made a U-turn and took off out of there. Don't know what they were up to.
Interesting.
But once we started towards them, they got out of there. They were gone.
Well, that's what the law enforcement and military say. If nothing else, just be observant and look for anything suspicious. You hear about that in general. Everyone should do that wherever you are.
We are very aware of our surroundings, and we're ready.
Of course. And by the way, it's not just men out there. There's women as well. Yes. I know when I was out there was at least one woman I saw with you. And
we have several regular women. Yeah.
We sure do.
Okay, listen, we got to take a break on that note. We'll get more calls in our final segment. The line opens 737-7587. It'll be your last chance if you want to jump in, join in the conversation. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll get back to you right after this.